Today's video is brought to you by Squarespace. Do you ever get annoyed at ND filters? Like you're inside filming something, you want to go outside, so you have to take your ND filter, the rear cap off, store that on the front. You got to screw that lens. Hang on everybody, wait for me. Get that off, get it adjusted. Okay, now I'm ready to film outside. Now I want to go back inside. I've got to put this back on, get that off of there. Make sure to cap it because I don't want to scratch my lens filter. And now I'm ready to film inside, but then we gotta go back outside and I gotta do that again. Or maybe you have multiple lenses that you shoot with throughout the day. Like you're gonna flip from this lens to this lens. So you have to take your filter, you have to unscrew it off this one, put it on this lens, then switch lenses. It can be kind of a pain in the butt to film with ND filters. But now my very favorite ND filters, they've gone magnetic. Today we are taking a look at the brand new PolarPro Helix Maglock system that takes your VNDs, your mist filters, your blue morphic, your gold morphic, all those filters and makes them magnetic. I have used Gen 1 and Gen 2 of the PolarPro Peter McKinnon variable ND filters, so we're gonna talk a little bit about those, but mainly the Helix Maglock versus the Edition 2, because I do think for some people, the Edition 2 still makes more sense than picking up this new Helix Maglock system. This is definitely a revolution in the filter game. But for some people, this one's still gonna make more sense. But how do these Maglock filters work? Essentially, they start with this guy. This is the Helix base ring. This one is for an 82mm lens, but they have them for 67, 72, 77, and 82mm lenses. If you have a lens smaller than that, you would just use a step-up ring to get to 67, and then you'd be able to use the system. But over here on this lens, it's an 82mm, and on this lens, I'm gonna put a 77mm. And again, this base ring, the idea would be to just keep these on your lenses at all times, and then you can take something like the variable ND filter, this is the 2:5, magnetically take off the back plate, and then this would just click onto here, and then lock in place. So it has a magnetic system where it magnetically locks, but then listen, it clicks in place. So it actually locks in place, and if you don't press these two little gold tabs, you can't get it off. And the filter goes on there magnetically, and the lens cover goes on. So this little lens cover, this is the Defender lens cover they call it. That guy just clicks onto the front, locks in place, and then they also have those for when your lens doesn't have a filter on it. You take this guy, pop it on there, lock it in place. So all your filters are protected when they're not in use, and then when they are in use, you would just take that off, grab the filter from here, bring it over to here, slap that on, and lock it in place. And as long as you keep this Helix on all your lenses, you can take any of their filters. This right here is a mist filter. Take off that rear plate. I would just slap it right on there, lock it in place, and now I've got filters on both my lenses. If I wanted to switch my filters for some reason, I was like, I want this filter on that filter and that filter over there. It is quite quick to do. And honestly, that's kind of all there is to this new system. It's pretty much the same quality filters that we've had in Gen 2, but now brought to this new magnetic system. Now there are a few cons to this system, and like I said, there's still a few reasons why you still might be interested in Gen 2's filters. We're gonna get to that in a minute, but first let me thank the sponsor of today's video, Squarespace. If somehow you have not heard of Squarespace before, they are the all-in-one website building platform that I have used for over a decade now. For over 10 years, I've run my photography business all through Squarespace. Initially, I signed up because of their professional templates that I knew I could easily take and customize them to my business, but then I stuck with Squarespace all these years because they just made it easy. Squarespace takes care of all the web hosting, the maintenance, all the support side stuff that goes into running a website. They take care of all that for me so I can focus on being a photographer. And over those 10 years, Squarespace has iterated on their platform multiple times, with the newest being their Fluid Engine design system, which makes customizing your website insanely simple and like really fully customizable at this point. Whatever you want to do with a website, you can do it on Squarespace. And that's why for the last 10 years, I've recommended Squarespace to so many people. It's just simple to use, it's easy to set up, you get really professional results, and it just works. If you are wanting to upgrade your business's website or you're looking to get that side project off the ground, shoot over to squarespace.com, sign up for a totally free trial. You can design your entire website during the free trial, and when you're ready to go live, use code David Manning and you'll save 10% off at checkout. It's a pretty sweet deal. And thank you again, Squarespace, for sponsoring today's video. All right, back into the Helix Maglock filter system. These are definitely incredibly robust, really well-built filters, but there are still a few reasons why you might go for the Edition 2. The number one reason that I would say that some people are going to be more attracted to the Edition 2 over the new Maglock system is kind of size and weight. The older filters, this Gen 2 filter, not that big of a filter. If you take this guy out of here, like pretty normal sized filter, very average in kind of the ND world. But if you look at this guy, even if I take off the front cap and rear cap, this is like a honker of an ND filter. Super thick, again, very robust build quality and everything, but quite a bit larger. I know one of the big reasons that it is larger is that even on an 82mm lens, you can go all the way to 17mm and have zero vignetting with these ND filters. But when looking at it compared to this guy, you can see how much smaller this ND filter is. And for some people, I know that just a slimmer, smaller filter system is always going to be higher on their list than the ease of magnets. Magnets are great, but in most cases, they add a bit of bulk. Like definitely when I took these out of the box for the first time, my first impression was wow, those are some hefty filters. Number two reason why you might still consider the version 2 is the mounting system that they thought of with this setup. I do like this a lot. So essentially how this works, if you don't know, on version 2 is the rear cap unscrews from here, you flip it around to the front and you lock it into the front cap. So there is the rear cap is locked onto the front cap. You then take this whole thing, take that off, and you screw this onto your lens because you want to mount this filter system, and then the front cap and rear cap, because they're combined, they pull off together. You just slide this in your pocket. When you're ready to take this filter off, you take this out of your pocket, you put it over the whole thing, you unscrew the whole thing into your hand, take the rear cap off, screw it back onto the back of the filter. And that was pretty clever. I remember when I first got that, I was like, that is super trick, and I like it. And while this is definitely a faster system, I don't know, the whole rear cap locking to the front cap thing was cool. I kind of wish this one did that, and then I would flip this around, lock that in place like that, and then both would come off. Right now, they both just kind of come off, and now you got two things to slide into your pocket. Can't say this is a complaint because this is still a great feature, how this works, of just being able to pull a lens cap out, slap it on, and go. You can probably even do it blind. It does have to line up with a certain spot, but I bet if you spun it around, you slap it on there, you just kind of find it. Oh yeah, you could put the lens cap on totally blind. Are there blind photographers? Is that a thing? Probably. I bet there is. The number 3 thing to note between these two systems is that if you keep this Helix base ring on all your lenses, even the 82mm, which this is the largest lens that this goes on, check out, see that lip that it creates? Like it's kind of like having a step-up ring on every filter at all times. And on lenses that are smaller, this is a 77mm, the lip is even more drastic on there. So when you have the filter on there, it just sticks out quite a bit from the lens itself, like pulls out from the body, bit of a lip on there. Whereas the version 2 system, check that out, like that's super sleek. Like there's a tiny lip, but it's barely a lip, and just having this Helix base ring system on there, again, adds quite a lip on there. Probably not a big deal in most instances, but times when you're like putting this in your bag, you imagine like a slot that's perfectly fit to the lens, this bit protrudes quite a bit from there. If you have a bag where your lenses go in like this, not a big deal at all, but if they go in like this, maybe, I don't know, that might be a deal for somebody. I guess it's like a 4th bonus note between these two systems is that these filters are about $50 more than the Gen 2 filters. And then also you do need that Helix base ring for each of your filters. With these guys, you just pop them on whatever lens has 82mm. You would need a step down ring for lenses like this, but in general, this filter just pops on, pops off, And with these guys, you will need a Helix base ring for each of your filters to make like the most of the system. Because if you have these on like, let's say 3 or 4 lenses, then it like really, I think that's when this system really shines, because you are moving your filters a lot during a given shoot. But overall, like a really good upgrade. I am stoked on them. For my use case, I will be using the Maglock system. I'll probably keep these for maybe when I go travel, I might bring these with me, but I would say for day to day, I'll just keep the base ring on there and be able to swap between all of these different filters. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts on this Maglock system. I know a lot of magnetic filter systems have been hitting the market recently. Just if there was nothing else, but we all flipped to magnetic lens caps, I already would just be a happy little camper. Okay, questions and comments, drop them down below. I will get to those, and yeah, I'll see you soon. A little pro tip on filter systems, or filters in general here. If you ever get 2 filters stuck together, I've seen like filter wrenches, things like that to get them apart. Really, you just need some cheap rubber gloves. Grab the piece that's jammed in there, grab the other one, and you just have such good grip that boom, they come right apart. Pro tip for your day.